Okay, here we got Menasor in his alt mode, which is that of a Cybertron or Cybertronian styled excavation vehicle. So you take a look here, he's got some like drill bits here, or drill heads here, and there's another one here. It's got some little like tank treads, tractor treads there, and here on the rear. He's got this big kind of scoop here in the middle here. So yeah, it's kind of a very weird sort of styled alt mode there. I kind of like it though. I think it's different. I like the coloring of it. This kind of like blue with these kind of like turquoise sort of colored accents, and the clear blue plastic here. I think it looks kind of neat. Not the greatest alt mode, but again, I do kind of like it. It's kind of funky and different. The transformation on this guy is very simple too. When we get to the transformation, you'll see how simple it is really. As far as gimmicks here in his alt mode, since this guy was part of the Cybertron series or the Cybertron show, he came with this Cyber Planet key here. And the deal was with these is there was different planets, and each one had their own different key or something like that. And with the toy here, you would have this key and you would plug it into a port that would usually unlock like a spring-loaded weapon or missile. On this guy here, since he's an Ultra class figure, there's a port right here, and if you stick it in here and push it in, it'll activate a little light and sound gimmick for his drill bit here. So I'll just kind of do that. Stick that in there and push it in. And let's see, there it goes. And there's a little blinking right in there. So apparently that's supposed to be like his little drill bit turning or boring through the ground or whatever it is. Oh, this guy gets kind of locked up in there. But basically what it is, there's a little speaker in here, and there's a battery compartment here on the other side, and you can take these screws off to open up that battery compartment and get to the batteries. While we got him here on the underside, there is a little wheel here, and if you roll it on the ground, it's supposed to catch on the ground and turn that drill bit there, but you can also do it here on the top. There's another wheel there, you can just use your finger and rotate it. So that's what his little Cyber Planet key does, and this is his. And the other thing about these keys was they all had a little like serial code or serial number like painted on the inside there. And I think at the time you could go to like a website or something and punch that in and it'd bring up like their bio or something like that. And depending on the character and their faction and what planet they're supposed to come from, they had different style Cyber Planet keys. But all these basically can work with any figure. The part that actually pegs in and activates the gimmick is the same. So even if you lose these and you have another one of the Cybertron figures, you can use their key to activate the gimmicks. And these are just some of the different ones here. So that's that gimmick there. His other gimmick here is right in here, and what that is it's activated by his Minicon, and here's his Minicon. Basically what this is like a little micro transformer. Real quickly, if you're not familiar with Minicons, they're basically smaller robots that supposedly have like a lot of power or energy or something like that to them, and then when they combine or attach to the larger character, they're supposed to like transfer that power and unlock some kind of power or something like that. But the gimmick here in the toy is basically they have this little hole here with a little post in it, and that would go on these little ports here, and they can go on other ports here as well on the vehicle, but certain ones would activate other gimmicks. So on this side here, basically you just pop that in here, and that's going to unlock this little drill bit in here. And what that's going to do is when you slide them forward, these little claws are going to spring forward and this drill is going to retract out and rotate. It's kind of stiff though, so let me kind of just get in here and do that like that, so you can kind of see that there. It doesn't move all that well, but yeah, it's very stiff. So that's that gimmick there. And that pretty much does it for his gimmicks. And again, this guy here does transform. We'll look at him when we get into the transformation of the character itself. But that's pretty much his alt mode there and his accessories. So next up we'll look at his transformation. Okay, here we go with the transformation and robot mode of Menasor here. First, we're going to look at the Minicon, and this guy's name here, I believe, was Heavy Load or something like that. I may have that wrong, actually. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but yeah. Anyways, he's a little like excavation vehicle too of some kind. It's kind of got like a little dump truck back part here and a little scoop in the front that can move. This guy's real simple to transform. Basically, you just want to unhook this back dump truck part here from what's going to be his legs, and then you just kind of bend these down like so. That's going to form his legs and body there, and then these are his arms. You just kind of separate these and rotate them out. Oops, it's bending back up there. And then just bend those down, and then there's a little panel here for his head. Just kind of flip that up, and there's his little Minicon buddy. And these arms here do have a little ball joint here, so you can kind of move them around. The legs kind of move a little bit independently, like so. So yeah, there he is there. And I think his name was Heavy Load or something like that. But anyways, that's him there in his little robot mode. Now let's look at the actual Menasor character himself. Again, the transformation on this guy, not a whole lot. It's basically like a big scaled up GoBot almost. There's not a lot of steps involved to transform him. Basically what you want to do is you want to unhook this little like post here from what's going to become his feet. Like that. And then you just do his legs here, which is just a matter of straightening these out. Like that. And then you just kind of unhook them here from the sides, and they're going to kind of swing out on these little arms and then join together to kind of form his waist or crotch or whatever it is. And those just kind of go in like that. Goes in like that, and just snap them together like that. And then you're going to want to rotate these around so that they're facing the front. And here's a little downside to this figure, is that the Minicon ports here are clearly in the way, so they kind of like screw up the ability of his legs to stand straight. Oops, kind of banging into things here with him. Let's turn him around here to the front. So yeah, he kind of stands a little funky there. His waist's a little floppy too, right in here. Not the most secure of joints. And let's just kind of pan up here. And there you can see there's his robot head and everything right there. So there's really not much transformation up in his upper body part. And basically you just swing these down like that. And these are his arms. His drill bits and claw and all that stuff are his arms. So there's no transformation at all for his arms. It's just a matter of rotating them into position. Let's see if I got this snapped together all the way. Yeah. And then all you want to do is, let's kind of straighten him out here a bit. Just kind of, there we go. Is just take the scoop here that's over his head and just kind of pull it apart, separate it, and just bend it back and move him out of the way like so. And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to him as far as his transformation goes. Like I said, it's pretty simple, not a lot to it. Again, it's like a big GoBot almost. He still has access to all the same gimmicks here in his robot mode, so you can put the key in here and activate his light and sound gimmick. You can put the Minicon on here and do his little claw and drill spring-loaded action gimmick there. The articulation for him, you can rotate these around, pivot here. There's some rotation in here like that, and these do bend there. There's no actual hands on him, so there's no wrist or hand movement of any kind. The legs here basically are ratcheted here. You can rotate and pivot up and down. These can twist, and they can bend at the knee and bend at the feet like so. Let's kind of straighten those back out. And the head can swivel around. So yeah, it's a little lacking here because those stupid little ports there for the Minicon and his legs there kind of screw up, you know, the posability of the legs in a way. Not too bad, but it is kind of annoying. As far as gimmicks go in this mode, the only thing he really has is You can take this mini-con here, and his chest here opens up to reveal a compartment. And you can add the mini-con in here, like that, and then just close it back up so he can like ride in there. I guess that's when he's actually joined together with him, and now he's got all of his power and everything, I guess. He does have these little cannons here, or guns. They just kind of rotate up and down like that. I think they're supposed to actually be like that in his robot mode, but I like to just keep them down like this. I think it looks better. Let's take a look at the detail of him here. Just kind of zoom in here. I do kind of like the sculpting and the design of him. I like his head sculpt. He's got nice light piping in here, and it lights up the little crest and his eyes. Let's kind of get these feet of his kind of out of the way. There we go. Again, I like the paint scheme. I think it's kind of cool. It's got a little Decepticon symbol there. Just kind of pan on down here. So yeah, that's pretty much the detail on this guy here. Not super great, but it's kind of cool nonetheless. Again, he's kind of a funky little figure. One other thing that you can do, and I forgot to mention this in the alt mode, is you can take this guy here, and when he's back in his little truck mode or whatever it is, let me just kind of quickly do that. So there we go. We got him now in his little dump truck type of thing. He can attach in here to his scoop. Now there's some little like posts here, right here, and there's a little groove here, and those just slide in. So you can line him up here in his scoop. And let's see if I can get that in there. Something like that. And when he's in his alt mode, he kind of expands that scoop out like that. So that's supposed to be like another sort of a third mode for him, as it were. Again, not the greatest thing in the world. But yeah, as far as my closing thoughts on this figure go, I think he's kind of an oddball transformer. Not the greatest in terms of his alt mode or his transformation. Gimmicks are kind of so-so. He's got the mini-con, which is, you know, a bit of a bonus, but nothing to really write home about. But he is kind of an oddball character, so if you're kind of into weird or offbeat sort of Transformers, I'd say get this guy. If not, then you're not really missing out on a whole lot. But that'll pretty much do it for my take on Cybertron Menasor.